G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome back to, well, a little bit of a test video today. So, as per my last video, had a few problems with the computer. My replacement parts are still coming in and I have no ETA on them. That's the nature of current supply at the moment, unfortunately. But we have been working hard, that is Dead Meat and I, on trying to nut out some of the problems on this end, and we think we may have it, at least well enough that I can get back to work. So, anyways, this is a little bit of a test video. This is War Thunder Simulation Battles Enduring Conflict, Battle Rating 1 through Battle Rating 4. And this is going to be a little bit of an interesting one because this one is flown in VR. One of my Christmas presents to myself this year, while keeping an eye on exactly what content I want to do in 2021, is HP's newest virtual reality headset. And it is pretty kick-ass. Now, VR in general is actually a pretty interesting one for me because, as most of you know, my eyes are kind of crap. So I don't see particularly well, especially out of my left eye. I tend to heavily dominate onto my right, and yet I can use VR fairly well. In fact, VR actually improves my ability to see inside of a simulation environment. And this is because of what VR does in regards to creating a better representation of real-life depth perception. But we'll get into that in another video. So this is the P-36C, it's Battle Rating 2. This was Battle Rating 1 to Battle Rating 4 Enduring Conflict. I bought out the P-36 just to earn some points so I can spawn some larger aircraft later. This was an encounter with an I-16 that I ran into that I think was trying to do exactly the same thing, strafing out our soft ground targets, not far from one of our runways. That wasn't the I-16. I think that was actually a P-40. It was on my team. I was just doing a quick check just to confirm exactly what it was. I pick up the I-16 about here as it's cutting across the river. Now, he spotted me at around about the same time I spotted him, and he started pulling altitude and makes the crossover. He may have just been confirming that I was actually a hostile with that pass as well. Target identification, obviously very important in Sim. Now, some of my head movements from the cockpit side may seem a little bit odd. That's because this was recorded from the replay. I currently don't have my software or my recording software set up to be able to record directly from the HMD. There's a few steps to being able to do that. So I'm using War Thunder's replay system here. And I am reasonably sure that War Thunder scales the cockpit differently in VR than it does under a normal screen. A couple of really good hits there, but this I-16 was just made of the finest stellinium. The amount of shots I had to put into him to actually put him down. This fight's nowhere near over just yet. All I've done here is clip his wings a little. Yes, as I was saying, I am a little bit too heavy on the rudder there. Rolled the plane a bit hard. As I was saying, I'm pretty sure War Thunder scales the cockpit slightly differently between VR and between normal screen display, which is why I seem to be getting so close to these bars. When I was flying this in VR, there was actually quite a gap between where my head was and the bar work, but in the replay it's showing me essentially trying to punch my face through the side of the cockpit in quite a few occasions. Also, I never seem to be quite lined up looking down the reticle when I'm taking my shots, where in VR I actually was. And I think this is a scaling issue as well. So I'll try and get the software sorted out so I can record this live from the HMD in the future. But this works in a pinch. This was actually really nice. This long looping series of rolls was the I-16 pilot trying to force an overshoot, but I've done this to enough people that I wasn't about to let it happen to me. And another big hit, and something came off the plane then in the vertical, but I can't see exactly what came off. A little aggressive with the rudder then, which caused a bit of an overroll, and we cross. And into a scissor. Now, I'm not sure if it was damage or if the pilot was just a little slow in his reactions, but he was a little slow entering into the scissor, which let me get his tail again. And we finally blow smoke. So this time we've actually hit his engine. And you can see the performance drop in the aircraft almost straight away. So I hold off on pulling the trigger here because I don't want to waste the ammo unless I absolutely have to. I wanted to see whether or not he was dead, but he tries to pull back up and re-engage. So I'm just holding altitude. I'm actually doing a slightly climbing spiral using the rudder to hold the nose up or pull a little bit of extra altitude. And he's dropping away, but he's not gone for the crash and he hasn't given up yet. It actually looks at this point like he was trying to disengage. Now, it was about at this point I really wished I was flying the the P-36C. If I was flying the G, this fight would have been over. Although at this point it really is. He's crippled. The plane's still flying, but it's blowing smoke. It's likely not going to be able to make it back to the runway as he is pretty deep into our territory and I am still right here. His engine is still running though, so long loop over, and this time I was turning around for the kill shot. That was the end of it. Alright, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you very much for watching. As I said, just a short test this time, just to see how everything's working. This is a brand new HMD. This is one of my first ever flights in it. We are using it. This is a brand new install of Windows. I've actually changed over a bunch of hardware as well to try and sort out my problems on this end. And this is a brand new bit of software as well in order to just try and clean up all my issues. So let me know how the video looks, whether or not you liked it, whether or not you enjoyed it, whether or not you want to see more. And until next time, take care.